Thank you for joining me today for this movie review of Pixar's Coco. Coco was released in 2017. It's another animated film in the lines of Inside Out, which is taking a look at quite sort of mature themes for children and is building on the Pixar legacy of producing films that are both good for adults and for children to watch at the same time, whilst carrying a sort of important message and lesson for children as they go forward within their developing and young lives. So I managed to catch Coco at the cinema this weekend. I was quite looking forward to the film. I felt that after Inside Out, Pixar had got their film back on track, really. I mean, I know they've done Cars 3 recently, but I felt they'd done quite a lot to get back on track, particularly with new films, new IP, such as Inside Out, such as Coco. What I was interested in for this film was how it would deal with this idea of the Day of the Dead, of family, of dealing with relatives who are past, relatives you don't perhaps remember as an individual. You have no living memory of those relatives. And for me, this film did a great job of helping to connect its sort of young characters with its aged and past characters. So the film follows the story of Miguel Rivera, who is a young boy who is forbidden from indulging in his passion in life, which is music. His family, for some at early days undisclosed reason, have a hatred of music, and they won't allow it in their family, within their lives, and they do everything to avoid music. Now, the family is getting ready to celebrate the Day of the Dead. They are putting up the pictures and treasured possessions of their ancestors, but there's one very notable absentee from that list who is sort of deliberately obscured and removed from photographs. And basically Miguel has to go on a journey to understand his connection with his family and how he relates to them, and to really understand where they're coming from, and perhaps how family is far more important than he had considered itself to be. Now, for me, this film is charming, it's delightful, it's quite funny in places. I liked the music, but I wasn't wowed by it, let's say. It was good, it was decent music, and that's something you perhaps have been spoiled by in previous Pixar films, but this was good, really, really good. Not great, but good. I felt watching this film with obviously a lot of children within the audience, with my own family, I was really pleasantly surprised by how well Pixar managed to cover this topic of death, of past relatives, of dealing with remembrance, dealing with how we connect with our forebears, with our ancestors, etc. And I think Pixar did a great job of doing that. There was no one sort of scared in the movie theatre, no one was, you're seeing skeletons and stuff brought to life on screen, but no one was overly upset by that, and I think they handled that particularly well. And they did create a great family message of connection, of spending time with your family, appreciating your family, and understanding what it is that they want for you. When they say they want the best, it may not be ideal for you, but they want to support you, let's say, and keep you safe from harm. The film's plot is, I think, quite generic. It was fairly easy for me early on in the film to see which way it was going, and certain reveals I had seen coming quite some time before, but I think simplistic plots in Pixar films works well. I think you've got enough to do talking about this idea of the land of the dead, and this beautiful visualization of this bridge between the land of the living and the land of the dead, explaining mythology to cultures who perhaps don't understand this in the same way. And I think the film did a fantastic job of doing that. As someone who's dressed up for Day of the Dead in the past but really doesn't understand the cultural importance of it, I'm just using it as an excuse to dress up. I think they did a great job of quite quickly explaining and conveying the importance of it. There's no sort of religious nature to the film, and as someone who comes from no religious background, I appreciated that. You don't have to understand, let's say, any religious aspects of Mexican culture in order to understand this. And I think it's an idea, this idea of connecting with your ancestors, this idea of commemorating and remembering them, that I think it could be pretty much universal. I don't think it has to be in any way tied to any one religion. I think you could come at this from anyone, even from a non-religious perspective, I really appreciate this idea for what it means about you as a person, respecting where you came from, respecting those people that came before you. And I think it's got a great message with that in mind. So overall, I gave the film a 8 out of 10. I felt it was charming, funny in some places, heartwarming. It's got a fabulous message for kids, and again, Pixar has picked up from where they left off with Inside Out. They are providing very interesting, open ways to engage in a dialogue with children about complicated, difficult, emotive subjects. Your emotions from inside out, in this case, death, passing, people having one life, what happens afterwards. I think it's a bit of a niche that Pixar are carving out for themselves at the moment. And for me, they've done another fantastic job here. So I love the film. Hopefully you've seen it already as well. Look forward to hearing from anyone in the comments about what you felt about the film. Did it connect with you in the same way? Perhaps you come from a different culture and maybe you know more about this kind of culture than I do. I certainly have quite a limited understanding of this culture, and so I kind of approach it from the perspective of an outsider, as I guess most people would do, who don't come from that kind of Mexican culture to start with. So look forward to hearing from you in the comments down below. Please feel free to like, share and subscribe. It's been wonderful talking to you again about this film, and as ever, bye! Bye!